Hi there, Matt Morris, and I'm paddling in Kitchener, Ontario here in Victoria Park Lake with a bent paddle that I purchased, but I wanted to make my own. There it is. Let's take a look at the final product here. And in the shaft, which you're now looking at, there's 5 slices of wood, 3 different types, and then we'll go down to the 11-degree bend right there, and then the blade has some mahogany and ash in it. This video attempts to show you the entire process of this build. And I started by trying to bend a piece of wood without steaming it, and it cracked. The wood might have been a little bit thick, but I've done steam bending, and I said, you know what, this has to be a steam bending project. So I got out my steamer and I steamed up 5 pieces of wood, and here I am putting them into a jig and cranking it down. But obviously I was moving too fast because I completely forgot about spring back. I was after an 11% final bend for the blade. But this is all for naught. Everything I'm doing here, I had to start again. There's the 5 layers of wood. Beautiful wood. But this wouldn't do it because I forgot about spring back. So we're going to take it all apart, take all the clamps off, take the wood out, set up the steamer again, get a new jig designed, and overbend that wood. So let's listen in to some of the recording I did while I was filming. As you can see, once I released the wood, and let's get these 4 out of the way, and we'll just concentrate on this one piece of ash. The spring back was significant, so there we are lined up on the line. If we come to the curve, right there, look at that spring back. So we have to overbend. So there we have the final form down there. Take a look. So it's a 50-inch double bend paddle, and there's my first we overbend it, and then later we'll get back to the 11 degrees. So the overbend, once out of the mold, will maybe spring back and rest at that position. So again, number 1 is overbend, so 0 tension, and then 2 is clamp it in the real bend with the glue, the real bend that's desired with the glue, and hopefully it'll hold there. On the other end, bend number 1, we're going to overbend the area near the handle so that when it springs back in the final bend, that'll be roughly our position there. Have to decide if I'm going to cut this out on this mold. Maybe I could. Or am I going to get a new board for that final bend? We'll see. It's all part of the fun. So let's steam some wood. So we're almost ready to put the wood into the clamps. I've moved my 2 pull clamps here down to this end so I can get a clamp position on both sides of this curve here. And I know that 2 will probably do it here because it's basically we got a clamp around that curve. But I do have a couple of extra clamps I'm going to throw in. Get this one ready. And so this is certainly lined up in the right position. That's pretty key. And because once it comes in, we want to move pretty quick. Time to bend some wood. So I've got my steamer plugged in fairly close to the socket so that it doesn't pop a fuse. I used to have long extension cords, but they'd often pop a fuse. So we're boiling just a little bit of water. It boils more quickly because I don't need that long of steam. Got my steam box here, and in previous iterations I recorded the temperatures. I'll probably take a reading to try and get over 200 degrees, but this is fairly thin wood. We've got the dowels down the side, so we got 2 trays in there. Let's take a quick peek. We'll disrupt the... I even used to record the order I put them in. So there they are, my 5 pieces. Let's see. Don't feel much steam yet, so we're going to check to see what's happening there. But in a few minutes, maybe about 20, we will throw it into the clamps. So let's take a look at that now. We'll release it from the clamp on the tripod and we'll come in and take a look. So there's my overbend for the handle. I'll come along here. Let's shoot the end here. I guess I really could have trimmed. Oh, that one is almost out. I missed that. Let me try and fix it right now. This is how it happens in this business. Let's see if I can push that. No, it's the script. You know what? I'm gonna leave it because it's gonna be flat enough. No, I gotta fix it. Okay, let me fix it. It's gotta go all the way back, probably. This a little bit here. Is that enough? Pull it apart. There we go. A little better. Let's release some more. Let's do the whole thing. Got enough initial bend that it might work. Should have a piece of wood. Strong piece of wood. Slowly. Talk about spring back. We're going to hold it in this over bent position. Looking good. I don't see any breaks. I'm glad I looked at the end. Could you even see that? But let's take a look. So that's better. I had numbered the pieces of wood. I tried to line them up in the steamer, but I did number them just in case as an extra check. I've got these curly registration marks. Not that I use those much. Yeah, interesting. I guess I'm a little far out the one end here. And that bend, I'm maybe a ½ inch short, maybe even an inch short on the end. So we'll see how that affects things. That's no problem though. Later I will have quite a trim job, won't I? Yeah, we didn't check this end either. We'll know to check both ends, but that looks very vertical. So it's the bend I'm after, not the alignment, because that'll be very key in the glue up, of course. So now we'll just leave this to dry for a while. And then later we'll put it in the true form, however I build that, and then glue it up. So significantly colder today. Minus something. -4. Feels colder. Take off some clamps. Let's see what we have. Some cracks there. This one had also, this is the one I had repaired with tape on 3 and then steamed, but it still looks good, and it will be sandwiched in the middle of these 5 pieces. We'll create the core. Oh, almost some breakout here, but I think it's fine. And our last piece. Good, so now they're separate, they'll be able to dry better. Let's see if we have my spring back. Okay, let's take one. And we'll push up to the bend. And we can see we might go back to there. But right now, if I cue this up, we're already back a little bit. So it easily goes back to that position. So we won't force it, but we're going to let that dry out a little bit. In an uncompressed state, in fact, I'll spread them out so there's good airflow between the pieces. It won't take much, but just enough to get some airflow through. We'll let those settle a little bit. And meanwhile, I think I'm going to build the new true form so that when we glue it, we can clamp it into exactly where we want it. So here we have 2 forms. I've got the original 5 pieces on the top form which was the overbend situation. You can see the final bend noted in red on the top line there, but I decided not to cut that line there. Let's just leave that form strong the way it is. I'm using the clamps to hold it in that position so the wood doesn't, get the idea of springing back too much. On the bottom is my final form, which is the actual 11-degree bend at the key point near the blade. I've also got another little bend near the handle, which makes it a double bend. And I've got my registration marks on there. The bottom board, again, junk wood out of a dumpster. It's only 48 inches, so when I load it in, I have to make sure it's all proper, hanging out 1 inch on either end. And then we'll clamp it down. Just waiting now to find out what type of glue I'll use. Maybe Type Bond 3, but there might be another choice as well. So, okay, it's time to do the final glue up. I've laid some paper down to catch some drip. I'll put in my final form with the final 11-degree shape, making sure my 2 key clamps are just around those bends. And then here's my wood. And let's see. I'm looking at the numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. So let's see if those line up well. They do pretty well. Make sure the curve's the maximum spot where there's going to be no trouble. So I think that would work well. And yes, that'll work well. So now I'm going to turn off the video and just give a final check to these surfaces. They look pretty good. I think there's one that might need just a little bit of sanding. This one here, I think, might need a little bit of sanding right there. And we'll get the glue going. And you gotta watch, we're doing a trowel fit here, of course, before the glue. I'm gonna open it a little bit, give me a little more room to maneuver. Let's see how we're doing here. So I think that should be really important to get these in the right position so the bend is very natural. The ends are still good. Yeah, that's a good position. So I think we're going to put some registration mark on there. Yeah, that's the ideal piece. So a little registration mark, that'll be my key point. So now we glue, and in we go. So I'll put that there. I'll glue this and put it in. Then I'll glue both sides of this one and put it in and continue. So I think it's time to glove up. This is going to get messy. Glue. It's a little cold out here, so once we do this, we're going to carry the whole thing inside into the heat. We'll have another jar of glue if needed. Okay, let's tighten up the sleeves to reduce the chance of trouble. Here we go. Lots of squeeze out. Gravity, we're going to get some slowed down when that's sitting there. Now I am choosing to glue both sides. course, these two pieces of ash are going to be way too wide because I did not trim those down. So there goes the first one. In. And now we've got the second one. I'm thinking, here's an idea. There's the gravity pushing that glue down just before contact. Let's make sure that's in good shape. So that is good. And I think I'm gonna put it in. Here's a, on the eye there, line up my registration marks. And then bring it out so it is in contact while I glue this other side. This will also help me because I can visually see the ends. I can make sure they're beautifully lined up. I need more glue. Definitely more glue. It goes. And the registration, a little off on that one. So that's good. That's the way it's going in. Okay, final registration marks. There. And I need this one down to here. Good. In she goes. Right in the right spot for the pressure. Good. And let's check the, yep, that's good. And this one is good. So it's time to tighten once we're in the exact right spot. And I think that's it. So, push there. Does that look good? Looks good. Bring it in. And a little bit of pressure. This looks good. Bring it in. Bring it in. Bring that one in. And pressure. Now, it's not like I'm really bending this stuff. But now, let's make sure the alignment is good. I can feel all the bottoms there. I can feel all the bottoms here. I think I want that up slightly. These. There we go. And now we're going in. Let's try not to get too much glue on the thing. So now it's not so much shape we're controlling here, it's the squeeze or the glue. And I have more clamps in case you're wondering. Okay. So we're going to get this into the warmth. Once I pick this up, close those glue lids. We'll combine these two later.